Welcome to the Current Electric Girls State Volleyball Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I am Mike McGivern. Thank you so much for joining us. As a high school athlete or a coach, this is a day you hope for, a day you train for. This is a day you will always remember, playing for a state championship with your classmates, with your school's name on the front of your jersey, in front of your friends, family, your school, and community. Trust me, win or lose, these 10 teams from around the state of Wisconsin will always remember November 9th, 2024 as a great day, as a day when all the hard work they put in together as a team paid off. These players will talk about the journey to a state finals for a long time. At their 5 or 10-year reunion, at each other's weddings, this day will surely come up in conversation. And not just about whether they win or lose. It will be more about things that happened along the way, a practice or a bus ride or a team dinner. One of the reasons I love high school athletics, the idea of playing for a state championship with your friends from your neighborhood, kids you've known sometimes since first grade. I'm not sure it gets any better than that. And for the next hour, we will break down the 5 state championship matchups going on throughout the day at the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. My co-host for this hour, don't worry, I'm not doing this on my own. She is the head girls volleyball coach at Brown Deer High School and a writer for Prep Dig. You can go to prepdig.com to read her stuff. Rachel Cass, thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's talk a little bit about your background, and then we'll break down Division 5. Rachel, how long have you coached at Brown Deer?
Yeah, I've been there 6 years, 5 years as the head coach, 1 year as the varsity assistant.
Prep Dig is how you and I met, and I think you do a marvelous job of really highlighting these student athletes throughout the state of Wisconsin. Tell us a little bit about Prep Dig and how long you've been there.
Yeah, I've been with Prep Dig since 2018, I believe. It's an absolute blast. It's really exploded kind of onto the scene. We do a lot of different things. We host events, we host college showcases, we write articles, obviously, about state and other, we follow the high school season and all other aspects year round, and then we also do rankings, of athletes in each of the classes. So,
let me be the one to say, I think you guys should be up in Green Bay, and it's not by your choice. And you and I had that conversation, and for me personally, I should have you right up at the Resch Center watching this firsthand, but that didn't happen. And I just thank you for your time and watching, these matches. I had talked a little bit about how important this day is for these 10 teams, Rachel, and these girls and these coaches and these communities will remember this day, win or lose. They're going to remember this day for a really long time. And at their reunions and at their weddings, they're going to be talking about, hey, do you remember the bus ride up to Green Bay? Or do you remember the dinner the night before? Stuff like that. I know that winning is important, and we're getting there. You get there and you want to win the thing, but win or lose is such an important day for these kids.
It's incredible. And honestly, the environment up there is electric, and the amount of work that every single person up there puts in, from every single athlete to the coaches to the parents. I mean, it's a lot, and it's such an accomplishment to get to the state championship. There's a lot of teams that don't, and so yeah, it's really exciting for them to be able to be on that stage.
What's funny, Rachel, is as a basketball coach, I had a chance to coach in a number of state championship games. And I can't tell you much about the state championship game, but I can tell you about the journey. I can tell you about issues we had at the beginning of the year that we kind of figured out and took care of in the second half, or what it was like to get through the regionals and then the sectionals. I remember a lot of that. But once you get there, it's a great accomplishment, and you feel really good about getting there. But the memories of the journey, for me personally, and a number of other coaches I've talked about, like far more than that final game, it's about getting there and getting that team prepared to play in a game like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, let's talk about Division 5 in this first segment. We're going to break down each of the divisions. But in Division 5, Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran against Columbus Catholic. Two schools that I think a lot of people expected to be there. And both teams, I think, are playing at a really high level. And Division 5, I don't know a ton about these schools when it comes to their volleyball programs, but reading up on them, top-seeded Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran has had a really good year. They breezed through the regionals and sectionals, and for them to get to the state finals, I think is something that this team at least thought there was a pretty good opportunity for them to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they have just some great team chemistry. When I was watching yesterday, it was really the first opportunity I've had to see them play live, and I was just glued to the screen. I mean, their team chemistry on the court was just incredible to watch. Um, every aspect of their game flowed well, and it's just a team that clearly knows each other very well, and a team that they're there to win, but they also really were enjoying the moment on the court with each other.
They won they're the champions of the Dairyland Conference, and looking at their history, they got to the semifinals in 2020. So it's a program that has gotten to this point before, and it'll be interesting to see if they can get a win against Columbus Catholic. Columbus Catholic, they were the 2 seed, 26-15 for the year. They were the champions of the East Division of the Clover Belt Conference. And let's talk a little bit about Columbus Catholic. You got a chance to watch them play yesterday. How do they stack up against the Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran?
I think it's going to be an absolute battle, to be completely honest. I mean, the semifinal matches both went to 4 sets, I believe, and they were just battles. I mean, it was point for point, and I think that's what we're going to see in the championship match. I think that there were a lot of leaders that stepped up on Columbus Catholic that their team will be looking to them to perform in the championship match.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game. That's coming up next here on My 24. We're going to get to a break. Other side of the break, we're going to break down Division 4, then 3, 2, and 1. And looking forward to getting insights from Rachel Cass again. She is with PrepDig, and I needed to have somebody that understands a lot more about volleyball than I do. And Rachel has been kind enough to be my co-host for this show. This is the Current Electric Girls State Volleyball Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Duffy, only on My 24.